what I've been up to, and trying out some new video editing software. Good day, YouTube. It is 10:40 now on a Tuesday morning, and we are here on the bench, at the bench, in the bench, whatever. Got a few things I want to share with you as far as things that's been going on. I know I haven't made a video in a couple days. Apologize for that, but I've been being a bum. Just sitting around watching TV, and that's about it. So, what I have today is a couple of items. In fact, there's more than a couple. There's several things I've got built up here on the bench that I'm working on. I think you know about the boombox. Obviously, you know about that. And I've got the components for it laid out here, and I'm going to put those on a cardboard. We're going to make a cardboard type shelf for them and mount them on that to serve as a temporary holding platform for those devices, so we can further test the boombox. That's one thing. That will be done off camera. You guys have seen me glue cardboard enough, and once I get it done and the item is mounted, we'll bring it back and show you what that looks like. That's that. And like I said, second item is the switches for the, you guys may recall I had outlined some time ago what I wanted to do for this prototype was to put a push button switch right here. And I have the push button switches in. They came in the other day. And I'm going to do that. And we're going to show you what that looks like. And once I get that mounted, and we'll see how well that works. So I wasn't going to do it, but then I thought, well, I've got the switches, and I've got this is obviously a prototype because it's got holes all over the place. And so that's what I'm going to do with it. Go ahead and put that in there and get that done. I have the right angle plugs or BNC connectors for the new board when it arrives. And also today in the mail, I'm expecting the right angle potentiometer, 50K potentiometer with switch, and that should be here. And I also am getting the single pole double throw switches from China that I ordered. I can't remember for 50 or 20 of those, but whatever it was, those are supposed to be here today as well. So I'll have all that stuff, and I'll have everything I need basically waiting on now the board to arrive. I've done some other writing on the instruction manual for the BDST, and a flash picture of that up. And in fact, I want to get your guys' opinions on. This is basically the tools that I think you'll need to put this kit together. And you guys give me your opinion on that, and whether or not I need to add anything or subtract anything or anything like that. And that's that. So also, some of the things I've been doing while I haven't been making videos is watching videos of other people. This guy that I've been watching made a comment on one of my videos, and I generally try to check out people when they make a comment if I don't recognize them, if they're not a regular viewer or commenter or whatever. And I try to check out their channel and see what they're into. Because a lot of times people that make comments, they don't really make videos. And, I think, well, you tend to, I won't say devalue, but you don't value their opinions as much as other people who are making videos, because you figure, well, you guys are not doing it, so what do you know? But this guy actually does make videos, and he's kind of an interesting individual, and especially the subject matter that he's pursuing at the moment. He has transmitted a radio signal. I forget now what the frequency was. I'll try to flash it up on the screen if I can remember it. But this is a sample of what his little experiment has provided. He basically hit a radio signal into the YouTube video, and which I thought was an interesting thing to begin with. And then the second video, he showed the results of that as decoded on an SDR radio receiver. And it's really was interesting to see how he did this, and I thought, that's kind of an interesting thing. So let me share with you just a few seconds of the video, and you can see the images that come through on the waterfall display of the SDR Sharp software on the computer. And I thought it was pretty interesting. So I will put a link to his videos or to this video and his channel in the description so that you can check him out. I think he's worth checking out if you're interested in electronics at all. So let's look at that right now.
So this is what normal radio waves would look like. If you zoomed in on a radio wave, this is what you would see. Just the normal bandwidth going on of a standard FM modulating signal. I decided, well, how would we get an image to show up in these displays? And that's what we have here. So hopefully you guys can see what's going on. This is the, SDR Sharp software. And I think I'm not using the RTL, I'm using the AirSpy dongle. It's a little bit better, a little bit more expensive, but it has a better RF front end and a more calibrated crystal inside. So definitely worth a few bucks to get the AirSpy products. Plus they're pretty much plug and play. You just plug them in and SDR Sharp, or really all the software programs, detect them. So the next one is probably the SDR, I think it's HF Plus, that they're just have released. So I might check that out for the HF frequencies. So there you see the microphone there. Very cool.
All right, now that you've seen that, don't forget, like I said, check the description below and for his links down there, and check him out. It's worth it, I think. Also, yesterday in the mail, I got these transistors, and I know they're hard to see in that pack, but there are 8 transistors in there, and I forget the number. I'll try to flash that up if I can remember the number. They are for the, and I cannot remember for the life of me. I've been sitting here trying to remember where I found this amplifier at. Now I can't. I had asked Bob last night what the transistors that were actually for, and he reminded me, and then now I know what it was, but then I can't think of how I found out about it. I don't remember if it was a video, if it's a link he sent. I'll have to check it out and find out, but it's basically an RF broadband type amplifier that I'm going to use with the hula loop. Anybody that remembers the hula loop antenna, so that's what that's going to be for. It's also a good little RF amp, for other things. I think it goes up into the megahertz. I forget how many, 25 maybe megahertz. I can't remember offhand, but it was a good little project. So that's that on that, and I think that just about covers everything I wanted to cover on the things I'm doing. Like I said, I probably will work on this cardboard thing next and do that. And then I'm going to maybe work on the signal tracer, getting that ready for that push button switch. So that's probably what I'll be doing today. Yesterday I had to play a little Uber. I had to provide some Uber services for my son-in-law. He has had a surgical procedure and cannot drive for a couple of weeks. So I will be, I think, doing that again tomorrow for him. So not a problem. They always help me out when I need help, and I try to do the same for them. So, and probably we'll go visit my mother again Thursday and see what she's up to. And I think that's about it. we are working on other projects for the BD Electronics. That's going to be shown in future videos. And Bob, I know Bob hates me, but I got to keep him on his toes. And what I'm talking about is he came up with the idea of, well, actually he said the original schematic that he came up with the idea for the BDST had a signal injector with it. And he got to looking at that, and he was talking about that, and I said, you know, it'd be really nice, because the only thing it was injecting was 1,000 hertz tone. It wasn't a RF, and it was just a, like I say, 1,000 hertz tone. I said, you know, Bob, I said, it would be nice if you could add, you know, a 455 kilohertz signal in here as well. I said, it'd be kind of nice. And so he got to look at that, and for long I said, you know, I said, besides that, it would be nice to have a 10.7 megahertz signal in it as well. So I know, like I said, he was getting frustrated with me, but you know, if you're gonna make a signal injector, I mean, those are 3 signals, you know, that should be fairly easy to provide, I would think. Not totally. At first he said he didn't think the 10.7 would be very easy, but then he found a circuit for that, a simple circuit actually, and he has ordered some parts to make that happen. And so, you know, we may come up with something fairly decent as a companion to the BDST, BDSI, I guess. But anyway, like I say, that's just some of the things we're working on. Also been talking with Don over at Restoral Radios, and we may have a joint venture project there. Like I said, that's strictly in the talk stages. It's nothing confirmed yet, so we will let y'all know if we do. And so just keep an eye on BD Electronics, and we are working to get this thing going on. And again, not to be rich, we're not looking for that. We are just wanting to basically have some fun. This is fun for us, and even Bob gets frustrated. He's having fun. So anyway, that's that. Oh, he has a printer too. He bought a new color printer, and so that's the first printer he's had for a while, I think. And so, you know, you kind of need a printer and this kind of stuff. You need to see what you're designing, and you can't always be right there at the computer or the tablet or whatever you're using. And so that's a good idea. So, all right, I've talked enough. Let me do some actual work here. I'm going to show you a couple things on the bench and show you the layout I'm going for on the boombox and stuff. And so we'll come right back in a second or two. Alright, what you see on the bench is the 4 items that I have to put on the boombox platform, whatever you want to call it. There's our decoder, Bluetooth module, and that's going to have to be included, and I want to stand that up like that. So the little cardboard platform that I come up with is going to be basically a square like this with one side. And that's just to make it rigid enough to where, excuse me, to where I can mount this on the front and press these buttons for whatever I need to press for. And I think that one side should be plenty for that. So if not, I'll come up with something else. But that's the idea on that. Now the other things that has to be mounted, and I'm going to put in one of them, one of these type of, can you see that? One of these type of sockets right here on for the that's the same thing right there on the little tweeter amp that I'm using, the 8403, and I'll put that there for that, and we'll have just a plug-in for all 3 of the items, because there's one for the amp, and of course these are the ones for the one's the output and one's the input. I think this is the output here and this is the input, but there's your power on that side. Won't have to worry about that. But And the power on this one has got the two plug thing for that too, but I don't have an extra one of them sockets. So probably I'll just I'll put some direct wires on that. And of course our speaker outputs are over here, and they'll be wired in like that, soldered in. So, but that's what that's going to be. And basically, like I said, this in here doesn't have to be mounted any certain way. It's not going to be accessible to the user. I mean, it's just going to do its job and that's it. Now this one here, the Boss CE102, has plug-ins on both ends. This is the speaker end for the high, or for the output of it. This will go to the subwoofer, to the dual coil subwoofer, and this is our power end. And so those have got to be hooked up. And this is our high level input here, and that will have to be hooked up. And the low inputs will not be used. They are covered, and that's what they'll stay that way. The filter, I still haven't figured out if it's low that I need or high, but we'll figure that out. It's also got off, which, you know, it doesn't filter anything. So, and this is our control to control the amount of amplification. You got the minimum and maximum, so we'll have to adjust that. All of these controls, this control will be accessible from the back of the boombox when I get it the way I want it. And I believe this one will be also be accessible from the back. Now I think those are the only two that really will be accessible on the boombox, and the rest of the volume control will come from this, which it has a remote, or you can see it has volume plus, volume minus right here. So, you know, that's how you get the and by the way, this is not the one I'm using. I've got one in mind that I'm going to use. It's basically similar, but it has better display. My son likes things that flash and lights that, you know, he's one of those type of people. But anyway, that's the one I'm going to get for it. And I just wanted, this is the same basic thing, it just doesn't have the fancier display. So I want to set it up with this and get everything working like it's supposed to. And that's what I'm going to do. So that's that on that. And again, these are the transistors. Maybe you can see them better in there now that in this camera view. But I can't think of the name. I'll flash up the picture and flash up the picture. I'll flash up the number of these, and also the source for this amplifier. And because I'll be back at the computer, then I can think a little bit better. So get that done. And like I said, the other thing I was working on was the signal tracer. And again, there are the push button switches. Now, like I said, those will be mounted, I think, right here. Or one of them will be mounted, actually. And, you know, like I say, this will be your on-off control. This will be your volume for the amplification. Your RF is going to come in here. Your switch for RF or AF. And that should do that. Now, on this one, the power input comes on the side. But that's going to do that. I have some more switches. I have some more screws coming in for this. I have 150 of these ordered now. The first 100 that I bought, I think, are too small, but I'm going to see if we can use them anyway. I wanted to bring you back for this little bit of a update here, or additional thing here. These are the screws that I got in for the speaker. Now you can see these are much smaller than the ones that are in there. These are 2mm, and the ones that's in there is 3mm. So I ordered some more 3mm with the nuts, and we're going to compare that. Now I'm going to use these because I think they'll work, but I just wanted to see the difference as far as, I thought the 2mm was the ones that were in there, but I was wrong about that, obviously. Now these are black and silver, so kind of unique. Like I said, I will be using these, and they're not that expensive, but like I say, I'm going to use them. So that's that. And now the other thing is the capacitors that I ordered. I had 100 ordered of these. Now these are actually 25 volt, where the other ones are 50. But really, other than that, there's no difference in them. And these were a little bit cheaper because they are 25 volt, and they're not really needed to be 25. 16's enough. But so those came in as well, which I'm glad about that. I still haven't got the knobs in. I'm really getting a little concerned about the knobs. I think I may have to reorder those because they don't seem to be coming in. So anywho, that we do this little additional thing. So back to the video, because there's no sense in not using them. And now this next, this is going to be the original, but when we actually start selling these, they will be a 57 millimeter speaker, and I don't know if how we can see that, but that's, if you look at the speaker itself, it's about 50 millimeters, and like I said, the opening is a little smaller because otherwise the speaker would just pop out through there. So that's basically the between here and there is 50 millimeters. You can see that on the ruler, I think, and that's where the edge of the speaker is, from these two here and from this one here. So that's what holds the speaker in, and so that's that. Well, I'll have this apart and we'll look at the where the hole's going to be, and that should be an interesting thing, I think. So we'll see how that works. So join me for that later on, but for now, this is going to do this video because I'm getting way too long, I know. So I'll probably, like I said, I'll do most of this cardboard construction off camera, because you guys have seen me glue cardboard before, and there's nothing really fascinating about that. So I will do that and bring you back and show you that for another video. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. I'm actually hoping to get something done today because of being a bum the last couple of days. I haven't done anything. So you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching, and we will see ya.